Practice does not make perfect. That is the hard-learned truth we're going to be discussing today on Graphene Business Law, a YouTube channel dedicated solely to helping business owners such as yourself. For those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. Give this video a big thumbs up and don't forget to click subscribe. For the returning viewers, I owe you a special welcome this time. If you're a returning viewer, you'll know that it's been quite a few months since we've last posted here on Graphene Business Law's YouTube channel. That's been for good reason. We've been busy behind the scenes working on the actual product of our law firm, rebundling packages and legal service offerings so that we can better serve you as the entrepreneur and business owner. Nonetheless, it has led to a little bit of a hiatus on YouTube, yes, but I'm here today to let you know that we are back full throttle to the community that started it all. My name is Pam Antoni. I am a business lawyer and of course the founder of Graphene Business Law. I'm also a business owner. So when I speak to our community of fellow business owners here, it comes not only from an extremely seasoned place of going through the business owner battles day in and day out myself, and I do mean businesses outside of my law firm, by the way, although technically, of course, I'm the owner of the business that is the law firm as well. But there's that extremely seasoned perspective where I know every difficulty you're going through because as somebody that built myself from the bottom up, I've gone through all of it myself. And then there's also the more enlightened bird's eye view perspective that going to law school and becoming a lawyer and having my own firm now for over half a decade has given me. I have been able to catapult my learnings as a business owner from learning from the experiences of all the business owning clients that I deal with. And what that does, it gives me tremendous insights into the ins and outs of business successes and of course failures. And all that again packaged with the legal side and with, technical acumen and knowledge and ability. It makes me a very, very strong player to have on your side when it comes time to navigating your business issues. And of course, you can contact us anytime, even though we've been away for a few months. All the contacts are the same. info@graphenebusinesslaw.ca and our website is graphenebusinesslaw.ca. And we do serve primarily within the province of Ontario, Canada. But of course, there are certain legal matters like charity law, for example, that's a special offshoot of business law that are federal. So when it comes to a matter like charity, we could help individuals from all over Canada. Without further ado, I wanted to come back to the channel with a bang. I hope you'll consider it a bang. And talk about one of the most eye-opening lessons that I've come to fortify in my time off of YouTube and my time off of this YouTube channel. Of course, I have my other lifestyle channel as well. And that is the lesson of practice does not make perfect. And this lesson was fortified during my, few months off of YouTube. I did a lot of reading. Reading was one of the things I did. And I read a book by Harvey McKay titled Learn How to Swim with the Sharks and Not Get Eaten Alive. Good title. And I mean, this was one of those books with lots of little chapters, like 2 or 3 page kind of chapters, as opposed to like 5 chapters and they're 60 pages each. So it was quite digestible in that sense. But it also had a lot of lessons that can sometimes be hard to keep track of. So when you read a book like this, it's not that I'm remembering all 60 lessons. It's 1 or 2 things that stick out. But if you're a business owner watching this, by the way, I strongly recommend you to read that book. Harvey McKay, How to Swim with the Sharks and Not Get Eaten Alive. One of the lessons Harvey talked about was the fact that practice doesn't make perfect. And how can that be? If you're somebody like me that didn't come from a law, that's the first in your family or in your circles to do certain something, whether that's own a business, in my case it was own a business and be a lawyer and a bunch of other things. So I was, it can be hard if you are not coming from those circles where, mommy and daddy were lawyers and, grandpa owned a business and so on and so forth. It can be hard to make the mistakes that entire generations before you have made in other families and for you to make those mistakes all by yourself all the time in your family tree. So practice makes perfect, I feel, is one of those expressions that is said a lot to those of us that didn't come from the business owning cycles. And looking at what I've read in the Harvey McKay book, it almost feels like an expression that's meant to keep certain individuals just busy. It's like busy work for the working class almost. They'll keep practicing the same thing because they've heard this expression somewhere that practice makes perfect. Although some of them would be wise to realize that after years of practicing, there's no perfection around the corner. And that is owing to what Harvey McKay isolated and identified as being the reality that perfect practice makes perfect. Practice in and of itself does not make perfect. And reading that chapter to his book was such an aha moment for me. Why does practice not make perfect? If you continuously practice one thing, there's a very high chance that you are continuously practicing the wrong thing. Otherwise, continuous practice of the right thing would have led you to crack the code, or would have led you to at least get close to cracking the code to the point where you can feel it. The code being the code of success, the code of business ownership, whatever have you. But the reality is that so many individuals are just practicing the wrong thing. They're practicing busy work. They're practicing hard work, but they don't know how to market. They're practicing hard work, but they don't know how to network. They're practicing hard work, but they don't have two social skills to rub together. So in that sense, they are going to practice staying at the same spot, plateauing for the rest of their life unless something changes. And what that change would be is, starting to practice the right thing as opposed to the wrong thing. And that begs a very excellent question. How do you know you're practicing the wrong thing when there's no one out there to tell you? First of all, in the sense external to you, of course you can seek the help of qualified professionals, right? Here at Graphene Business Law, of course, like I mentioned, it's not dozens or hundreds, it's thousands of business cases that we've seen over the years from clients walking through the door. Some good, some bad, some in between. So that bird's eye view is obviously going to add a tremendous amount of value to somebody trying to figure out their first business. First versus thousands in experience. And the same might be with an accountant or, another department, another professional you're seeking to hire. When it comes to the internal, I think a pretty good way to figure out how your practice is not leading you to perfection, and therefore maybe you're not practicing the right thing, is an evaluation of your metrics, whatever industry you're in. If you're in social media, are the likes and views getting any higher? If you are in sales, are you selling anymore? So we're talking about, if you sold one unit, a few months later, you may be selling 2 or 3. A few months later, you may be selling closer to 10. Some sign of growth. Do you have those signs of consistent growth, by the way, not fluke-driven growth, like somebody bought 10 units of something to do you a favor, or it was a pity buy, or it was a seasonal buy, or something like that. We're talking about consistent year-round growth in whatever metrics best suit your business. If it's referrals, if it's signing on individuals, if it's more subscriptions, whatever business case you have, if it's giving more haircuts, more butts in the seats, whatever your business model is. If you are not at a stage where I would say, so knowing as a business lawyer, and again, this is where all the things I know connect on the back end, by year 3, about half of small businesses are going to have failed. And by year 5 to 10, it's something crazy, like 75%. But if every other business is going to fail by year 3, that means that well before that, we're going to want to see some signs of consistent growth. Sometime around, the end of year 1, I would say, you're going to want to see consistent growth. And if you're not seeing that growth around the end of year 1, it could be a very red flag that you're heading for that 50% that doesn't make it if you don't start practicing the right thing. And the right thing, there's 2 ways to look at that as well. There's the focus of, oh my God, how do I identify the right thing? But there's also the fundamental principle of identifying that you're doing the wrong thing. Once you're identifying that you're doing the wrong thing, you have afforded yourself agility, the ability to move, the ability to be objective, the ability to evaluate yourself, the ability to be self-aware as a business owner. So start by identifying if what you're doing is working or not. And if it's not, then we're going to be jumping to all these different strategies. And eventually, there is a fairly high chance, if you have that mindset of looking for the opportunities, of not being emotionally attached to doing the wrong thing, of being adaptable, flexible, always learning, that there is a high chance that you are going to run into the right thing. And you will then begin to practice the right thing. And practicing the right thing is what leads us to perfect. Perfect, of course, in a quotation mark, because we're using the base expression of practice makes perfect. But is there actually ever really perfect in the business world? No, there isn't. Amazon, one of the highest earning companies in the world, Tesla, one of the highest companies in the world, are still doing 100 things wrong today, despite beating a lot of people a lot of business owners in their performance. So if they haven't achieved perfection, of course, perfection is not the expectation. But again, as far as the expression goes, practicing the right thing is what's going to get you closer to perfect. I'll leave this video there. Like I said, I want it to be digestible. The book that I read that inspired this video, I felt was fairly digestible in and of itself. So I want to do right by the book as well. I don't want to convolute a very simple aha moment kind of message. And to that end, I will turn it over to you. My favorite part about being on YouTube, other than helping bridge the disparity between, the sophisticated clients and the clients that don't have all that help when they walk through the door. And, my absolute favorite thing about having this law firm channel being to bridge that gap and the quality of service that both clients are getting. Because if you're a client without all the fancy background, watching a video like this can help you make better use of next time you're in front of a lawyer and make better use of that money that they're billing you, because they're going to bill you the same whether you ask one question or you ask 10 meaningful specific questions. So that's the primary reason I created this channel. But one of the main joys I receive as a consequence of receiving this channel is reading your comments. So let me know. We're back now. Like I said, we're going to be posting content at least weekly moving forward, as we had in the past. But let me know in the comments down below, when was the moment when you realized you're practicing the wrong thing? So you better switch it up. Thanks again for watching. Give this video a big thumbs up and click subscribe down below, and we'll see you on the next one.